It is 3 p.m. Friday here in Seoul. Hello and welcome to Arirang News. I am Noadam. Thank you as always for tuning in. We begin with the latest on the coronavirus outbreak here in South Korea. The country saw a rise of 110 coronavirus cases overnight, bringing the nation's total to just under 8,000. Now, half of the new patients were found in the country's hardest-hit southeastern city of Daegu and the surrounding Gyeongsangbuk-do province. 17 patients were found in the country's central city of Sejong, meanwhile, where the virus is spreading among workers at a government complex. The capital Seoul saw 13 new patients, all of them linked to the cluster infection in Kurogu district, and there were more recoveries than confirmed cases as almost 180 people got out of quarantine. Since January, South Korea has tested over 240,000 people. Korean stock markets are getting hammered again on this Friday. As of 2:30 p.m., South Korea's benchmark Kospi was down around 2.5% to around 1780, and the tech-heavy KOSDAQ had fallen almost 5.5% to around 530. Earlier in the morning, trading was temporarily suspended in both markets when they fell by the daily limit. In fact, the Kospi dipped below 1700. For the Kospi, it was the first time trading had been halted in 4 years. Wall Street, on the other hand, also saw another historic drop on Thursday. The Dow Jones fell almost 10% to finish at around 21,200. This is the biggest one-day percentage drop on Wall Street since 1987. Investors were rattled by President Trump's decision to ban travel to the US from Europe. President Moon Jae-in says the country is in the midst of an economic emergency, one that cannot be compared to those seen during the outbreaks of MERS and SARS. He held a special meeting with the country's finance chief and central bank governor to discuss the impact of COVID-19 on the economy and financial markets. Moon called on officials to respond with unprecedented measures. He also asked them to seek ways to enable South Korean business people to travel overseas by getting documents showing they've tested negative. Now, the global impact of the coronavirus is becoming ever more apparent by the day. Diplomatic and sporting events, as well as other gatherings that bring together large groups of people, are being called off at what seems like an hourly basis now. Some of the latest announcements: Disneyland in California will temporarily shut down for just the 4th time in 65 years. Universal Studios Hollywood quickly followed at Disneyland's lead. Our Choi Jung-yoon has more.
Now it has been labeled a pandemic by the World Health Organization. The impact of the virus is seen worldwide. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his wife have self-isolated themselves after she was tested for the new coronavirus. Prime Minister Trudeau himself has not shown any symptoms, but will avoid all face-to-face contact and hold meetings via phone. Top U.S. officials may have also been exposed to the virus as well. A Brazilian official who met U.S. President Donald Trump last weekend tested positive for the coronavirus. However, the White House said there was almost no interaction with the contractor and testing the president is not required. President Trump also said he wasn't overly concerned. Responding to the outbreak, sports organizations in the U.S. have taken strong steps, barring fans from games or even suspending their seasons altogether. The MLB announced the start of its regular season would be delayed by at least 2 weeks, and all spring training games have been called off. The National Collegiate Athletic Association has canceled its men's and women's 2020 basketball tournaments, as well as all remaining winter and spring NCAA championships. 3 major American professional leagues, the NBA, NHL, and Major League Soccer, have completely suspended their seasons. The world's most popular amusement park will also shut down. Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure will close on Saturday and stay shut until next month. The announcement comes a day after the California state government said gatherings of more than 250 people should be avoided to counter the spread of the coronavirus. Disneyland's measures mark the first time the theme park has closed since the September 11th attacks in 2001, and just the 4th time in its 65-year history. Choi Jung-yoon, Arirang News.
Now, on the topic of sports, and with the coronavirus outbreak showing little sign of slowing down anytime soon, the fate of the Tokyo Olympics, slated to start in July, hangs in the balance. US President Donald Trump has even waded in on the issue, suggesting a one-year delay. However, the Tokyo Olympics Organizing Committee insists the outbreak won't derail the Games. Kim Yo-sun reports.
President Trump has suggested delaying the Tokyo 2020 Olympics for a year as the coronavirus outbreak continues to spread around the globe. Speaking at the White House on Thursday, he explains that a delay would be better than having no spectators.
You know, I like that better than I like having empty stadiums all over the place. I think if you cancel it, make it a year later, that's a better alternative than doing it with no crowd.
That said, President Trump added he would not make such a recommendation to Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, saying Abe will ultimately make his own decision. The president of the Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee stressed a day earlier that postponing the event is not an option.
We are not thinking about changing directions, no changing plans at all. Everyone is moving in that direction. The flame ceremony is about to start in Greece. And there is also overall supervision by the IOC. This is a time when everyone is making effort towards that direction. There is no room for thoughts that are negative, pessimistic, or of secondary issues.
He said delaying the Games is impossible as there is a Beijing Winter Olympics in 2 years and the Paris Olympics in 4 years. His remarks come around a week after Japan's Olympic minister Seiko Hashimoto raised the possibility of delaying the Tokyo Games. Hashimoto explained the IOC only has the right to cancel the Games if they are not held during 2020, which she said could mean the Olympics could be postponed as long as they are still held during the calendar year. Kim Yo-sun, Arirang News.
Foreign diplomats in South Korea have visited Incheon International Airport to observe the nation's efforts in the fight against COVID-19. Around 20 diplomats visited Terminal 1 to see how containment efforts are being carried out. After being briefed on intensified screening measures, they inspected the thermal testing process carried out on outbound passengers. The visit is designed to introduce Seoul's efforts to strengthen quarantine after over 120 nations placed entry restrictions on South Korea. Now, the South Korean government recently introduced a new 5-day rotational protective face mask distribution system, allowing people to buy a maximum of 2 masks per person per week. However, it has come in for some criticism, especially from South Korea's foreign residents who have found it difficult or even impossible to buy masks following the changes. Now, Kim Da-mi reports.
Just like Korean nationals, foreign residents can purchase 2 face masks per week at pharmacies on designated days based on the last digit of their birth year. On Thursday, those born in years that end with 4 or 9 were able to buy masks, and those who were unable to get masks during the week can do so on weekends. Foreigners can only buy masks from pharmacies if they have national health insurance. But sometimes some pharmacies have difficulties checking that foreigners have this insurance.
I showed my alien registration card, but the pharmacy near my house couldn't track my health insurance in their system. The pharmacist was nice enough to give me 2 masks, but I'm already worried about next week.
And many groups of foreigners don't have national health insurance. This includes students who usually have group insurance provided through their school. And because of this, over 100,000 students are unable to use this system to get hold of face masks.
One time, a foreigner came with just his driver's license, so I had to turn him away. Foreigners need to have both their registration card and national health insurance.
According to the Finance Ministry, the requirement for both health insurance and an ARC is to prevent people staying in Korea for a short period of time from buying masks through the system. These requirements apply to masks sold at pharmacies, post offices, and 농협 하나로 Mart, but foreigners without health insurance can still buy masks at other places, such as convenience stores or online. Kim Da-mi, Arirang News.
South Korea's economy is slowing down because of the coronavirus outbreak. That's according to the Korea Development Institute's Economic Trends report for March. The report says economic activity and economic sentiment are both declining as uncertainties grow in the real economy and the financial markets. In fact, the number of Chinese tourists to Korea decreased over 76% in February, the steepest drop since January 1999. The institute said that the outbreak could send shockwaves through the global value chain, and if that shock persists, the impact on the Korean economy will persist as well. Such concerns come just after a month after the institute said for the first time in almost 2 years that the local economy had shown signs of recovery in the previous month. The Bank of Korea says the coronavirus outbreak is going to have a bigger impact on the local economy than past epidemics like MERS and SARS. In a monetary policy report on Wednesday, the central bank said supply chain disruptions would harm South Korea's economic growth. Global production out of China fell to an all-time low last month as the country battled COVID-19. Korea's central bank added that the outbreak is expected to lead to a dramatic fall in the number of foreign tourists, as well as a slump in local consumption. It also suggested preparing for the worst-case scenario as the virus quickly spreads to other regions, including Europe. Now, South Korea's main government complex in the city of Sejong has ordered its staff to partially work from home from today amid an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases among public servants. As the total number of coronavirus patients from the Oceans Ministry jumped to 21, most employees have been working at home and all employees have been tested for the virus. The Education Ministry also confirmed one infection on Tuesday. The Transport and Education Ministries have split workers into 3 groups, which will take turns to work from home starting today. The Finance Ministry has also decided to work from home starting next Monday. South Korea, like many other countries, is going through an extremely trying time due to the coronavirus outbreak. However, tough times often bring out the best in people, and citizens in South Korea are coming together to financially support low-income neighborhoods. The money being raised is going toward medical supplies that include must-have items like face masks and hand sanitizers. Our Kim Bo-kyung has more.
A distribution center in Paju City, Gyeonggi-do Province. This is where workers and volunteers from Hope Bridge, Korea Disaster Relief Association, are making supply kits. Around 1,000 hygiene supply kits are being made here. The kits contain masks, hand sanitizers, and other items to help prevent those from the city's poorest neighborhoods from catching COVID-19. Around 180 million items, making up around 840,000 kits, have already been given out to those in need thanks to citizens' support.
As of Tuesday afternoon, around 140,000 people and organizations donated money, bringing the total to around $65 million. If the amount in donations that other associations collected is added, this would be more than $84 million.
It took more than 3 hours to put all the items in separate kits. After that, several people joined forces to load them onto the truck. The kits that were made in the morning were delivered to around 1,000 people in poor neighborhoods in Seoul and Incheon. As people in these areas cannot shower regularly or afford to buy personal hygiene items, they say these kinds of supply kits are very important to them. But these people are especially thankful for the masks.
These days, masks are hard to buy. And for people like me, we can't even understand what a 5-day rotation mask distribution system is. So there were times when we couldn't even buy masks after waiting for several hours at drugstores. So we are very thankful.
Even if it seems like a small amount of money, citizens' donations are making a big impact on those in need, giving hope that if joined together, South Korea can overcome the virus. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Okay, that is all the news that we have for you at this hour. Join us again in 2 hours' time at 5 p.m. for more Arirang news. Until then, goodbye.